What's up, everybody? Y'all know how we get down over here on this channel. We trying something new. We doing something new, and this is the drop gems session, the drop method session. So a lot of people been asking me about the check methods and how people do check this and check that. So today we talk about the check sauce, about the check methods, the glass, whatever y'all want to call it, because a lot of people call it with a lot of different things. And it's a lot of different ways that a lot of people do check methods. So we're gonna talk about them all. We're gonna drop the sauce and we're gonna get to it. So a lot of people don't even know what all the information on a check stands for. So A, B, and C, those are the most important numbers. Well, A, B, C, and A, B, C are the most important numbers or the most important things on a check. And a lot of people don't know why. So the A is the row number, and a lot of people, when it comes to like checks and stuff like that, a lot of people don't know like what numbers is what, and a lot of like so A is the bank's route number that the bank or the checks is connected to, right? So A is the route number, B is the account number, and then C is the check number. So A is telling what bank this check is connected to. And this picture right here is a fake check, and it's just a I got it off the internet, so it's not somebody's real check. Clearly, it's a fake check. But A is the bank's route number, and then B is the account number of the person that the money is coming out of, and then C is the number of the check, right? So check fraud has a lot of different ways that it could be accomplished. A lot of people do a lot of different things. So one way that people commit check fraud is they would basically rob mail carriers, rob mailboxes, steal all the mail out of the boxes, or try and look for checks because they're in their mind is they're getting these checks that's already a real check, and you can wash checks. Now, just because you wash a check does not mean that the check is just going to be automatically just this perfect check. No, washing check is very difficult because there's a lot of different steps that goes into washing a check, and you have to be very, very careful. So check washing might be one of the most difficult tasks to do when it comes to check fraud because first of all you got to find a stolen check. Once you find that stolen check, now you have the scammer or the hack or the scammer or the fraudster has the option to either A, leave the check as is and then just utilize a fake ID to go into the bank and try to cash this check. A lot of times people wash the name off the check and put a different name so they can use their real ID or somebody else's real ID. So they ain't gotta try to use a fake ID because one, banks are starting to catch on to a lot of check scams. Because every day, all day, somebody is trying to commit some type of check scam, and it's becoming so popular that banks are starting to. It's starting to become the same things are happening over and over and over. So banks are starting to understand what to look out for when it comes to bank scams and check scams. So a lot of people utilize a lot of different ways to wash checks, and some people might use acetone and brake fluid to wash the ink off of the checks. Now, that's one way that a lot of people, that some people do it. So they rob the mailboxes, they rob people's mailboxes or the mail carrier. They look through mailboxes and try to find checks. And then once they get the check, they wash the check. Then they either utilize a real ID from somebody, a runner, or they get a fake ID to match the information that's on the check to try to cash that check. And then you got people that do a little bit more research. And then those people, they say, okay, some businesses still mail out checks. There are businesses that still mail out checks. So what they do is they find these businesses, they Google and search these businesses, and they get the information on what they payroll and this and that. So then what they do is they stalk that business, and when the day that they know that the checks for payroll or whatever is going out, they go into that mailbox because most of the time Most businesses put the checks in the mailbox for the mail carrier to come pick it up when they come drop off mail. Pick up, drop off, easy as that. So they ain't got to go keep running to the bank or mailboxes. And people know that. So now they're starting to rob the businesses' mailboxes for these checks and wash those checks. So you got those type of people who commit check fraud, right? So they those type of people that don't got to worry about getting account numbers or route numbers, creating a check. The check is already created. They just have to match the information that's on the check because when you go into a bank and you cash a check, they're going to verify the check. They're going to verify this information right here: the check number, the name on the check amount, the name on the check, everything. So that's another reason why a lot of people look for aged accounts, aged bank accounts, because the procedure would be a little bit different, and especially with the banks. Now, for the people who do the make the checks, these people who make checks, now there's a lot of different procedures, a lot of different methods when it comes to making checks. So when it comes to making checks, this is a whole different ballgame because you got a group of people who are saying we don't want to keep going out and robbing mail carriers and picking up extra charges. That's a robbery charge. That's a no, we don't want to do that. What they want to do is now they're saying, okay, we want to create our own checks. We want to because this is different. And people are starting to figure out where to get the right ink, the right checks and all this from, right? And then you have the dark web. And now the dark web is becoming so sophisticated and it's the evolution and evolving that so much information, new information is being put out there that is making it easier for people to be able to commit these methods, especially check fraud. So, first of all, when it comes to checks, there's a lot of people who utilize different bank templates and different check templates that they get off the dark web or the dark world. Now, when it comes to this method, a lot of people buy pros, they buy fools, and most fools and pros come with account numbers and route numbers. So what they do is they say, okay, we got this fools or this pros that has this account number and the route number to this person. So we know what bank it is, we know everything. So now we're going to utilize this information to create a check. Now, a lot of people utilize their brain in a lot of different words, sources. So some people might just go on different sites and just order random checks and put the account and route numbers and random check numbers and go deposit the checks in different places. And a lot of times this actually works. This has been a lot of cases I've seen. A lot of people go on the dark web, buy these pros and fools, and utilize the account and route number, create these checks, order checks off the web, regular internet, to the regular web, not the dark web, the regular internet, and go cash these checks in all different type of places. And there are places on the dark web that sells different things, like as far as check templates and for those people who are into like the photoshopping, because there are people who get real and deep into the grind of making checks. Like there's different levels when it comes to check fraud, and a lot of people don't understand that. Like a lot of people think check fraud is just check fraud, but they don't think about the different magnitude that comes with check fraud. Like you have people out there that goes to the super extent that will make real life checks, meaning that they get the ink, they get the templates from these different dark web sites, and there's a lot of different dark web marketplaces and a lot of different places on the dark web that offers these type of solutions and things for people to be able to buy. Like I told you guys before, there's a lot of different marketplaces like Tour to Door Market. You got the Empire Market. You got the Torres Market. You got the ASAP Market. You got the Alpha Bay Market. You got the Cipher Market. You got the Dark Old Market. You got the Mega Market. You got the World Market. You got the White House Market. You got the Dark Fox Market. You got the Vice City Market. You got the Vortex Market. You got the Amazon Market. And all these different markets are on the dark web. That's selling different databases, selling different templates, selling different things that pertains to checks and identity and a lot of different businesses and things like that. So it's a lot of people that's good at photoshopping. And by them being good at photoshopping, they're basically able to recreate a lot of different checks and basically do the exact same thing. Like you can even buy certain check paper. You can buy there are places on the dark web that you can buy blank checks, and all you got to do is put it in the printer, fill it out on the scan it, fill it out on the printer, and then get the right ink, the check ink, that that a lot of people utilize for checks. Sorry about that. I had to write somebody back. But a lot of people, they get the right they get the right. So this is the thing, and I'm going to let you guys on a little secret because a lot of people don't really do their research, and this is the problem. So when it comes to checks, and I'm going to drop some gems for you right now. I'm going to drop some real life gems for you, right? So a lot of people don't do their research, and a lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of people go through a lot of different extents to get checks, but a lot of people don't do their research, and a lot of people don't know that most banks, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, all these different banks, they get their checks from a third party company. And this third party company is the same company. And this third party company also allows regular people to get checks. Now, this company is called Harlan Clark. Now, Harlan Clark manufactures checks for Chase, Bank of America, and a couple of other places, Costco, Walmart, etc., etc. Now, by people finding out this information, Harlan Clark, they are now getting these banks templates, getting these checks, because you can order bank blank checks with information on them, and you can just plug in the templates through Photoshop, and that's what they're doing. So they're going to Harlan Clark, ordering blank checks with stolen account and route numbers. Once they get that, they're going to their computer, they're scanning it, putting it in the printer, filling in the blanks, and now they basically have real checks. And this is due to technology, and a lot of people don't understand how technology is really being ran. And technology can do a lot of different things for a lot of different people. Technology runs the world. We use technology all day, every day. And without technology, the world would be a different place. And technology is allowing people to create these type of things. So there are a lot of different check methods out there. And like I said, you got people who steal checks. Might have people working in postal offices stealing checks, and those people they get the checks and they wash the checks, and they either match the information with fake IDs that's on the check, or they wash the check to match the information that they have to send the runner into the bank to cash the check. And then you have people who rob business mailboxes to do the exact same thing, wash those checks. And then you have people who create the checks. Now you got people who like I said, they might figure out where this bank might third party, what third party company makes these checks for these companies, goes to that company, orders personal checks, fill in the information that they need. So when the checks come, the account and route numbers are already on the checks. They scan these checks into the Photoshop and they get the right check ink, because all this stuff can be brought on the clear net. It's not illegal to buy check ink and none of these things. It's only illegal when people use them for illegal purposes. But people do this all day, every day. This is not nothing new. I'm not telling anybody to do anything. This is just something that's already been going on in the world forever. I'm just putting people aware of what's really going on in today's world so they won't become a victim, because at the end of the day, a lot of people fall for these check methods, and a lot of people aren't aware enough or smart enough to know what's really going on. If you're gullible enough and you're thirsty enough, you'll be somebody to fall for these check methods too. And you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be a victim. And these checks are getting so sophisticated and looking so real that banks are starting to almost get tricked into knowing if it's fake or not. So this check method right here is different check methods that people utilize to create glass to cook up checks. And At the end of the day, it's just all about what knowledge that scammer or that fraudster knows. What banks to go to? Are they going inside the bank? Or are they scanning the checks? And there's a lot of different websites on the dark web. And I probably gave you guys probably 10 to 15 marketplaces that utilize checks and templates and all that. And like I said, there is a lot going on in the dark web. There's a lot going on in the world in general that's allowing these things to happen. So it's just all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware. That's a quick little check method for you guys. And this check method is generating millions and millions of dollars in the fraud world, in the dark world. It's just all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware so you won't become a victim. All right. So with that being said, you know how we get down on this new channel or on this channel. I'll see you at the next method. Peace.